Right, good morning viewers and welcome again to your program, the newspaper review segment on iDEA TV. I am Gabriel Matthew Seriki, and today I'll be trading you with different papers coming from the world of politics, entertainment, and also in sport. Looking at the blueprints today, we'll also be taking a look at the Tribune, the New Telegraph, the Guardian, and lastly, we'll be taking a look at the Punch and see what is trending on the world of news and what is happening around both the world globally, what is going on globally around the world. All right, the first paper on our page this morning is the Blueprint. Let's see what is trending on the front page. We have iDEA to political parties. Leadership tussle on unnecessary litigation threat to democracy. All right, that is coming on the front page. iDEA to political parties, leadership tussle, unnecessary litigation, threats to democracy. That is coming on the front page. Then we also have on page 15, on the up page of the Blueprint this morning, where we have no politicians will go to hell for political sins, says by Oshomole. No politicians will go to hell for political sins, coming in from Oshomole. Then on page 19, still on the front page of the Blueprint, where we have CBN's total gold holding rights to $3.5 billion by Cardoso. CBN's total gold holding rights to $3.5 billion by Cardoso. Then in sports, where we have FIFA dashes Nigerian World Cup dreams, okayed by Dr. Congo. Sport, FIFA dashes Nigeria's World Cup dreams, okays to DR Congo. That is still coming on the front page of the Tribune this morning. Then still on the front page, where we have IGP Disu. IGP Disu sworn in, inaugurate state police implementation and committee. Implementation committee. IGP Disu sworn in, inaugurate state police implementation committee. That is still coming on the front page. We also have Zenith Bank, capital base peak. Omoji drives 92% share appreciation. All right, that is still coming on the front page of the Blueprint this morning. Zenith Bank, capital base peak. Omoji drives 92% share appreciation. All right, then still going to the down page of the Blueprint, where we have US, Israel, Iran face off. Ondo transporters hike fare by 50%. All right, that's coming in on the US, Israel, Iran face off. Ondo transporters hike fares by 50%. All right, that is still coming on the down page of page 7. They will also have Tinubu suspend cashless policy at airports. Coming in on page 9. Still on the front page of the Blueprint this morning. All right, then still taking a look at the last on page 14, still on the down page, where we have Oyo, 43-year-old man killed brother over alleged attack in dream. That is horrible. All right, then looking at the up page, where we have on the up page, COAS unveil locally made combat vehicle, hailed Tinubu defense policy. COAS unveil locally made combat vehicles, hails Tinubu defense policy. You take a quick look on that, on the COAS unveil locally made combat vehicles, hailing Tinubu's defense policy. I mean, the manufacturer combat vehicle, and all right, you take a quick look at that aspect. We will have, it said the Nigerian Army took delivery of 15 locally produced all-terrain combat vehicle known as Vanquisher. The vehicles were produced in Kaduna by Vanquisher Industry Limited in collaboration with the Defense Industry Corporation of Nigeria, which is the DICON, and the Army Command Engineering Department. I mean, they will also have, they are designed to enhance troop mobility, protection, and operational effectiveness in difficult terrain and modern combat environments. I mean, we are getting a report that the COAS unveiled locally made combat vehicle, I mean, made in Nigeria here, the Vanquisher Industry Limited, made by the Vanquisher Industry Limited, and it's already out, I mean, and it's already unveiled, and we can see that it's to be used for protection and also curb insecurity. Then the COAS praised Tinubu's defense policy. A quick look at the COAS praising Tinubu's defense policy on this aspect. I mean, Shebu commented President Tinubu to policy that promotes local content and indigenous defense manufacturing. nothing that government support is already yielding results. I mean, according to the army leadership, the policy encourage a partnership between the military and the locally manufacturers. I mean, it helps reduces reliance on foreign military imports. It strengthens our Nigerian defense industry capacity and our national security. As still a look on the COWAS unveil locally made combat vehicle. I mean, hailing Tinubu's defense policy. I mean, why the development is significant relating to in Nigerian situation. I mean, officials says that this marks a major milestone and in Nigerian defense manufacturing drive. I mean, it also creates jobs for local engineers and technicians, and it also saves foreign exchange previously spent on imported armored vehicle. I mean, this is also a way of creating jobs for the people, and also a way of defense manufacturing drive. And this marks a milestone in Nigerian manufacturing drive. I mean, we all know how this is all engineered. Where is engineered to? I mean, Nigeria is part of the country that we are seriously indigenous, and we love manufacturing. And if this such a company is well used to also to save foreign exchange previously spent on imported armored vehicle. I mean, you know how to import armored vehicle, what it costs, and the cost of logistics and the other things. So with this, at least it will create more avenues for Nigerians to be well shaped and well involved in manufacturing, and also creating jobs for the people. I mean, it also aligns with the federal government plan to gradually and independence on imported defense equipment and build a strong domestic defense industry. All right, I'm taking a look at the COWAS unveil locally made combat vehicle, his Tinubu's defense policy. So we quickly grab a paper on that to see more on that story. Then still looking at the Tribune, where we have IGP Disu gets set for state police. IGP Disu gets set for state police. All right, a quick look at that on that is coming in on still on the front page of the blueprint this morning. All right, that is coming on the front page. IGP Disu sworn in, inaugurates State Police Implementation Committee. All right, where we have Disu inaugurates a 7-member steering committee to work on the structure. I mean, and implementation of state policing. I mean, the committee is chaired by Professor Olu Ogunsakin, Director General of the National Institute for Police Studies, with CP Bode Ojundoni as secretary. Then other members include senior police officers, tasked with drafting proposal for the new policing model. I mean, a look at the new IGP that was appointed, and we can see he's already implementing most of the police work and how it's to be structured. I mean, looking at the 7-member steering committee to work on the structure and implementation of state police, they have to come together to make sure that this will work in hand. If it is implemented, I mean, state policing will be easier in Nigeria. Mandate for the committee. I mean, a quick look at the mandate for the committee, where the panel will, I mean, review policing model in Nigeria and other countries. I mean, reviewing policing model in Nigeria and other countries, assess community security needs and emerging threats, then propose an operational framework for state police structure. I mean, addresses issues of recruitment, training, funding, and oversight. Then we also have recommend a mechanism to ensure professionalism and accountability. I mean, this is still looking at the mandate for the committee, the 7 committees set up for the state policing in Nigeria by the new IGP. I mean, why this move is happening presently at this time? I mean, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu recently urged lawmaking, I mean, arguing that Nigerian security challenge equals stronger locally intelligence and community-focused policing. All right, so this is coming in by the president on how and why the state policing is very, very necessary, and why the joint trip or necessary litigation threat to democracy. Then we also have EPMC, his review of party regulation guideline. All right, that is all we have on the blueprint this morning, and we can see that on the down page we have Zenith Bank, capital base peak, Omoji drive 92% share appreciation. All right, let's quickly move into the next paper to see what the Tribune has for us this morning. Looking at the Tribune this morning on the front page, where we have IGP Disu gets set for state police. I mean, still coming as IGP Disu, the new appointed IGP of police in the state, as is already issuing state policing to be seriously enforced by the president, saying that on the new signed Electoral Act, part of the Electoral Act. Then when we have, see on the front page, inaugurates 8-man committee on implementation. Inaugurate the 8-man committee on implementation. Then Tinubu swear him in a lawyer set agenda for police chief. All right. Then we also have we have so many captions here on the Tribune this morning. Looking at on the front page on page 5, where we have CBN gold holding in foreign reserved rise to 3.5 billion. CBN gold are holding in foreign reserve rise to 3.5 billion US dollars. I mean, that's still coming on the front page of the Tribune this morning. Then we also have on page 19, alleged terrorism, AGF takes over Malami trial. Alleged terrorism, AGF takes over Malami trial. Then we also have on page 18, Tinubu direct halt to airport cashless policy. Tinubu direct halt to airport cashless policy. That is still coming on page 18 of the Tribune this morning. Then looking at page 17 of the Tribune, FG approved Qatar Bridge demolition, reconstruction of Ibadan, Ife, Ilesha Road and others. Federal government approved Qatar Bridge demolition, reconstruction of Ibadan, Ife, Ilesha Road and others. Then we also have on page 11, where we have 43-year-old man killed brother for shooting him in the dream. 43-year-old man kills brother for shooting him in the dream. That is such a sad one there, coming on page 11. I mean, this is such a sad one. I mean, how can somebody kill a brother? I mean, that story needs to be looked into for shooting him in the dream. That is the African mentality that we are having here in this part of the country. All right, still looking at the down page on page 5, where we have how the Hormuz crisis could affect Nigerian oil, inflation, naira market, says by experts. How the Hormuz crisis could affect Nigerian oil, inflation, naira market, says by experts. Then looking at the page 11, still on the Tribune this morning, where we have FG imposes 6 years ban on new private varsity. FG imposes 6 years ban on new private varsity. I mean, the federal government of Nigeria imposes a 6 years ban on established new private varsities to address problems in the country, higher education system, and improve the quality of existing institutions. I mean, what are the main reasons for the ban? Too many universities with low student enrollment. I mean, that's the first challenge that we are saying here. The reasons for the ban of the new private universities. One, here we have too many universities with low student enrollment, where we also have falling academic standard. Then we also have need to strengthen existing constitutions. Then we also have resources and funding pressures. I mean, these are the major reasons for the ban. On too many universities with low student enrollment, I mean, the government, it goes on to say, as in education, authorities said many tertiary institutions are underutilized with some receiving very few applicants through the administration, through the admission system. In some cases, schools reportedly have more staffs than students, showing that the system is overstretched. I mean, what this is trying to say is that there's too many universities with low student enrollment. I mean, looking at these universities, private universities in Nigeria. All right, then we also have falling academic standard. Looking at the falling academic standard, officials warn that the uncontrolled increase in universities could lead to a decline in academic quality and produce graduates who are not adequately prepared for the labor market. I mean, falling academic standard. I mean, where most of the lecturers and the teachers are not well taught in their discipline, and if they're not well taught, and then how will they be able to deliver and educate the younger generation? So it will lead to falling standard of the education in Nigeria. Then we also have needs to strengthen existing institutions. needs to strengthen existing institutions. I mean, the government wants to use the momentum, period, to upgrade infrastructure, recruit qualified lecturers, and improve facilities. I mean, this also has to do with the real area of upgrading infrastructure and recruit adequate qualified lecturers and also improve the facilities. My major emphasis is also on the facilities, because most of these schools they are not well facilitated. They don't have good facilities. I mean, if there are good lecturers and there are no facilities in the school and for the students to learn with, I mean, they can be well taught and they can be well fashioned to be well organized and to help them develop their careers and their skills in the public. All right. We also have resources and funding pressure. Operating 100 of our tertiary institutions placed heavy pressure on government funding and regulatory oversight. I mean, the pause is intended to consolidate resource and improve efficiency in the educational sector. All right, that is all. We still have more and more still on universities, on the FG that imposes 6-year ban on new private universities. I mean, you can send in your thoughts on this particular issue. Try to read more on the details of on Insight to get more of the news regarding the FG that imposes a 6 years ban on new private universities. I mean, it has been coming on and off due to the FG imposing 6 years ban. I mean, there's one time that we had about this. It was a rumor that the federal government is trying to stop, minimize the opening of some private universities, and we also saying it here that they have imposed 6 years ban on the universities in Nigeria. All right, a quick look at that headline to see the trendy story on that. Then we also have in Tribune, alleged terrorism, AGF takes over Malami trial. Alleged terrorism, AGF takes over Malami trial on Tribune. That is coming on page 19. On the front page, where we have alleged terrorism, AGF takes over Malami trial. I mean, according to the Nigerian Tribune, the federal government, through the office of the Attorney General of the Federation, took over the terrorism trial of the former AGF, Abubakar Malami, and his son, mainly to handle and continue the prosecution directly instead of the security agency that initially filed the case. I mean, why the AGF took over the trial. A quick look at why the AGF took over the Malami trial of terrorism. Right, transfer of prosecution from DSS to the AGF office. I mean, one of the reasons here is transfer of prosecution from DSS to the AGF's office. I mean, the case was first filed by the Department of the State Service, which is the DSS, but the case file was later transferred to the office of the Attorney General of the Federation, which decided to take over the prosecution in court. Then where we also have constitutional authorities of the AGF. I mean, under Nigerian law, the Attorney General has the power to take over or continue any case, any criminal case, or on behalf of the federal government. Then I think we also have why the AGF took over the trial. The third one here, we have need to review and prepare the case properly. I mean, need to review and prepare the case properly. I mean, when the case came up in the court, the Director of Public Prosecution took the judge, the AGF office needed time to study the file received from DSS before proceeding with the trial. I mean, these are the major reasons why the AGF took over the trial of Malami's son that was charged for terrorism, financing terrorism here in Nigeria. I mean, what is the case all about? I mean, Abubakar Malami and his son are facing terrorism-related charges, including, alleged aiding terrorism financing. By failing to prosecute suspected financiers when he was AGF. Well, that's the first one. Alleged aiding terrorism financing. I mean, this is what the case is all about. And we also have illegal possession of firearms and ammunition at their residence in Kebbi State. I mean, these are the major reasons why they're fighting serious charges on Malami and his son for terrorism, financing terrorism, and also in possession of firearms and ammunition in a residence in Kebbi State. Then we will say both defendants are pleaded not guilty, and the court has adjourned the case to continue hearing the trial. All right, that is on that aspect of alleged terrorism. AGF takes over Malami's trial. So a quick look at that to see more of the story and what they are saying on that aspect. All right, moving on further, where we have a Hormuz crisis could affect Nigerian oil inflation. Hormuz crisis could affect Nigerian oil inflation. That is coming on the front page of the Tribune, where we have, that is on page 5. Hormuz crisis could affect Nigerian oil inflation. I mean, looking at the Hormuz crisis, tension or disruption around this Strait of Hormuz could significantly affect the Nigerian economic, particularly oil revenue, inflation and value of the naira. I mean, according to the analysis reported by the Nigerian Tribune, all right, where the Strait of Hormuz matter. I mean, the Strait of Hormuz lies between Iran and Qatar and Oman, and it's one of the world's most important oil shipping routes. I mean, roughly 20% of global oil supply passes through this narrow waterway. Any conflict or blockage there can quickly disrupt global energy market. I mean, looking at the Strait of Hormuz, where the oil passes through for supply. I mean, if it is blocked, if it is blocked through the narrow waterway, I mean, it will affect the disruption of global energy market. I mean, reducing to 20% global oil supply. I mean, a look on that aspect on the Hormuz. Why the Hormuz crisis could affect Nigerian oil and inflation, of which is already affecting even the price sector right now. I mean, we can see the one we read yesterday was the fuel is already on 930. They've been just 1,000 naira per liter now, and gas has risen to 100, and crude oil also. Then this may temporarily boost government revenue. I mean, looking at still on the impact on Nigerian oil revenue. I mean, this temporarily boosts government revenue, external reserve. However, analysis wants that the benefit could be short-term because global instability also affect trade and investment. All right. Then we also have possible rise in inflation, still relating to the story of Hormuz, of what is happening in the Middle East conflict, still relating to how it's affecting the Nigerian market and the economic. All right, we have possible rise in inflation, even if Nigeria earns more from oil exports, the crisis could still push up domestic inflation. I mean, looking at this possible outcome, even if Nigeria earn more from oil export, I mean, the crisis could still push domestic inflation. I mean, in regard of higher global oil prices, means higher fuel and energy costs worldwide. I mean, this is not only happening in Nigeria; it's already happening in every part of the world. Looking at the rise and the inflation of the oil and the market sector also, the Nigeria still imports refinery petroleum products, so price could rise locally. Because Nigeria, we are still importing locally. We are still refining. We still import refinery petroleum. The price could rise locally, which is already affecting us here in Nigeria. Then transport, food, and manufacturing costs could increase, driving inflation upward. Transport, food, and manufacturing could increase, I mean, driving inflation upward. I mean, looking at the transportation aspect and the food aspect, how it's already affecting it. And as you can see here in Nigeria now, as it stands, before you know, the prices of both the transport will increase because they need to fuel their vehicle. They need to fuel. I mean, everything we do has to do with the use of this oil. And if it's already affecting the global market, it's already affecting the local market also. Then we'll have another one here, which is the pressure or support for the naira. I mean, the effects on the Nigerian naira could go in two directions. One, potential supply for the naira, in which a higher oil price could increase dollar inflow into Nigeria. Then more foreign exchange may strengthen the naira and in the short term, then potential pressure. If the crisis triggers global financial instability, investors might withdraw from emerging markets like Nigeria. I mean, this is where it's going to affect Nigeria deeply, looking at the pressure, the potential pressure of the outcome of all this. All right, looking at the bottom line of still on the Hormuz crisis. Looking at the bottom line here, the Hormuz crisis could bring higher oil earning for Nigeria, but it also risks higher inflation. volatile fuel price and uncertainty in the naira market, depending on how long the geographical tension lasts. All right, so a quick look on that to see how the Hormuz crisis, could affect Nigerian oil and inflation markets, says by experts. All right, this is coming in on the front page of the Tribune. Then in health, on page 12, where we have aloe vera may help malaria treatment work best with standard malaria drug, says by study. Aloe vera may help malaria treatment work best with standard malaria drug, says by study. That is coming on the page 12 of the Tribune this morning. All right, and I think on page 11, 43-year-old man killed brother for shooting him in the dream. All right, we've taken that story. A quick look at the next paper, looking at the next paper, which is the New Telegraph. Let's see what the New Telegraph is saying. On the front page, Middle East crisis, U.S. embassies concerns councils visas appointment in Abuja. Middle East crisis, U.S. embassies councils visa appointments in Abuja. According to the report referred by the New Telegraph and other Nigerian media, the United States Embassy in Abuja counciled visa appointments mainly because of security fears linked to the escalating Middle East war. Relating to the Middle East war, the visas is already shown that it's already been cancelled appointment in Abuja here. Then why the U.S. Embassy cancels this visa appointment? A quick look at that. Fear of protest in Abuja. Fear of protest in Abuja. The embassy warned that the conflict between the United States and Iran could trigger demonstration in Nigerian capital. In Nigerian capital Abuja, because of the security risk, all visa appointments scheduled for March 4th, 2026 were cancelled. All right, this is already affecting the visa appointments cancelled in Nigeria, relating to the story of the fear of a protest that might erupt in Abuja. Looking at Sokoto, the last paper that we took was yesterday or the day before yesterday, where Sokoto is already protesting, Gombe is protesting, Kano, Yobe, and Lagos also has joined the protest. And we are saying here that visa appointment is already cancelled due to the fear of protest that might take place both here in Abuja, the federal capital. Then we also have rising tension from the Middle East conflict. Rising tension from the Middle East conflict, where we have the crisis escalated after airstrike by the United States, and Israel reportedly killed top Iranian leader, leading Iran to retaliation with missile attack on U.S. base in Gulf. This global tension increased fear of protests worldwide. This is what is causing this whole protest rising in Nigeria presently, not only in Nigeria and even in the world, where we are seeing that the rising tension from the Middle East conflict, the crisis escalating airstrike by the United States is already creating that tension in the land of the conflict. All right, we also have on the third one here is a past protest that turned violent. And past protests that turned violent. The embassy said previous protests in Nigeria related to Middle East issues had sometime led to the clashes with security forces. So it took precaution measures to reduce risk around diplomatic mission. Looking at the past protests that has happened in Nigeria, I was able to witness one in Abuja here. Where Palestinian, I think there was a strike in Palestinian, and it's already a group of people. The Shiites, they have to come out to start protesting, and it led to severe destruction of properties. In the federal capital here. If there is a way that security force can be mounted to cure out this, so that it will not happen again, because it's going to disrupt both the public, both the everything, both the workers and the people coming back. It's going to disrupt life. So if there's a way the government can come into this to make sure that this group don't rise in Abuja here and other parts of the state, it's a good one. They are coming to protest for the Iranian leader that was killed. If it is peaceful, there's no cause for alarm. If it turns violent, that is when it will disrupt the life and the properties of the citizens in Nigeria. It's talking about Abuja, the federal capital. All right, a quick look at that. So see what the security agencies have to do to make sure that it doesn't turn violent if any need of protests arise in Abuja here. Then we also have safety advisory for American in Abuja. This I see the reason. I mean, for safety advisory for Americans in Abuja. I mean, the embassies advise U.S. Citizens in Abuja to stay indoor. I mean, avoid large gathering and remain vigilant because demonstration could erupt. All right, this is the report reaching us here that we have to stay vigilant and stay indoor and be watchful for any protest that might evolve from any dimension. All right, that is still looking at the Middle East crisis. U.S. Embassy cancelled visa appointment, looking at the front page of the New Telegraph. All right, looking at the up page of the New Telegraph, what we have on the up page, on page 2 and page 7. Fake approved concrete road, Qatar Bridge reconstruction. Reps approved concrete road, Qatar Bridge reconstruction. That is coming on the front page of page 2 and page 7. Then we will also have on page 2 and page 6, IGP unveiled 7-member committee on state police creation. IGP unveiled 7 members committee on state police creation. All right. Then we also have the probe on page 9 and page 10, still on the New Telegraph. We will have the probe. The problem with Nigerian is triumph over politics by Utomi. The problem with Nigerians is triumph over politics by Utomi. All right, a quick look at that to see his own review on political aspects. Then on page 7, where we have UK introduces visa ban on 4 countries to stop abuse. All right, we'll still come back to that. Then looking at still on the front page, where we have looking at the front page, where we have on page 2 and page 6, where we have OPEC party primaries reliable for voters' apathy by INEC. OPEC party primaries reliable for voters' apathy by INEC. Then on the down page, on page 5, still on the New Telegraph, where we have Tinubu suspend cashless payment at airport. Tinubu suspend cashless payment at airport. I mean, according to the report cited by the New Telegraph, Bola Ahmed Tinubu ordered the suspension of the cashless payment system at Nigerian airport because it created serious problem for the travelers shortly after it was introduced. I mean, we know that it was introduced, and the president has stated his own reasons why it should be cancelled, and it's already been cancelled. I mean, main reasons: several traffic gridlock. I mean, the cashless system introduced by the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, which is the FAAN, and caused massive traffic congestion at the airport gates, especially in Abuja and Lagos. Motorists had to use prepaid card or electronic payments at the toll gates. I mean, this is already causing serious engagement and serious trafficking and serious hold-up at the Abuja airport and Lagos airport, making the motorists to have to pay through electronic payments. It has to do with POS and at the toll gates. All right. Then we also have many people tried to register or activate card at the toll gate. I mean, it's causing congestion where people have to activate both their card. Then we also have this led to long queue and hours of traffic blocking access to airports. I mean, concern over hardship for Nigeria because of the congestion. Many passengers reportedly missed their flight. I mean, a quick look at the concern hardship for Nigeria, looking at the cashless policy that was implemented by the FAN at the airport, and the president have to come out to suspend the cashless payments at the airport. I mean, the aviation minister Festus Kayamo said the president intervened after complaining that the system was causing serious hardship for travelers. Then he explained that the president ordered the suspension out of empathy for Nigerian affected by the delay and congestion. All right, so this is what the president is coming out to say, that it's already causing serious hardship for the people, and it's already causing congestion in the airport. I mean, making everywhere more congested for the people due to the means of payment and the electronic implementation of the payment that the FAAN introduced at the airport. I mean, government will redesign the system. The government will redesign the system. I mean, although the system was hot, the government said it has not abandoned the cashless policy completely. Authorities were told to go back to the drawing board and design a more efficient system. I mean, looking at the system, the people are coming out to say that it has to be redesigned, it has to be checked, it has to be looked into, so that it will be a way of maintaining orderliness and swift, so it can be swift without causing congestion in the airport and without causing much hold up for the people coming in. Then we also have temporary hybrid system, may allow both cash and electronic payments until better platform is developed. I mean, temporary hybrid system, I may allow both cash and electronic payments until better platform is developed. All right, moving on further. Why the cashless system was introduced in the first place. A quick look at why it was introduced in the first place. It's talking about the Tinubu suspend cashless payments at airports. I mean, the policy was originally created, to reduce corruption and revenue leakage. To reduce corruption and revenue leakage at the airport toll gates. Then we also have replaced decade-old cash collection practices. Replace decade-old cash collection practices. Then lastly, we have a modernized payment system at Nigerian airport. Why this cashless system was introduced in the first place. These are the major three reasons why it was introduced: to reduce corruption and revenue leakage at the airport toll gates, then also to replace decade-old cash collection practices. Then lastly, we have modernized payment system at Nigerian airports. All right, that is it on the front page of still on the Tribune, where we on New Telegraph, where we have the cashless payments that is being suspended. Still looking at the New Telegraph, where we have UK introduced visa ban on 4 countries to stop abuse. Looking at the front page on page 7, UK introduces visa ban on 4 countries to stop abuse. Looking at this story here, where we have, according to the report cited by the New Telegraph, the United Kingdom introduced visa ban for 4 countries, mainly to stop what is described as abuse of its visa and asylum system. A quick look at the countries that was affected by this visa ban. The restriction target national form like Afghanistan, Cameroon, Myanmar and Sudan. The ban mainly affect study visa and some work visas. All right, these are the affected countries where we have Afghanistan, Cameroon, Myanmar and Sudan. Then why the UK introduced the visa ban? A quick look at why they've introduced, alleged abuse of the visa routes. The UK government said many people from these countries were entering the UK legally, on students or work visas and later applying for asylum. All right, these are the major reasons why it's introduced, that most of these countries, these banned countries, enter the UK enter the country through entering the UK illegally on students or work visas. They come into the country, into UK, either by through studentship, and later they apply for work, applying for works around. And officials believe some migrants use these legal visas routes as a backdoor to remain permanently in the country. This is not only happening to the UK and Sudan and Myanmar and Afghanistan. It's also happened to every neighboring countries. Where they have to go to other countries as in through the back door of studentship, either visa and they are also what's it called? Either through visa or. All right, I'll remember that. Then when they apply for this, then at the end of the day, they will turn into working. You can't blame them, because the situation in Africa, especially in the world, it's not something that everybody is looking for a greener pasture, way to go on and have a good life. If the Nigerian system is working well and other African countries are working well, the traveling will be reduced and it will not be uprising. Looking at the UK introducing visa, they will not be having to bound visa. If other people stays in their country to develop their country, the problem of visa ban will not erupt. All right, they will also have rising asylum claim. All right, still looking at this story on the New Telegraph this morning. On the Guardian, let's quickly move into the next paper we have on the Guardian this morning and see what the Guardian is saying. All right. On the front page of the Guardian this morning, we have State Police Committee resume amid framework abuse concern. That is coming on the front page. State Police Committee resume work amid framework abuse concern. According to the Guardian, the State Police Committee resumed work mainly to develop a framework for creating state police in Nigeria while addressing growing concern that such forces could be abused by state governors or political actors. Why the committee resumed? A quick look at why the committee resumed. The committee was inaugurated by Olatunji Disu, the Inspector General of the Nigerian Police Force, to push forward discussion on how the state police system could work. Key reasons why this happened. Rising insecurity in Nigeria need to design a workable framework. Then thirdly, we also have push for decentralized policing. We also have concern about abuse of power. Then lastly, we have constitutional obstacles. Look at the constitutional obstacles. Currently, the 1999 Constitution of Nigeria allows only one national police force, mainly state police, can only be created through constitutional amendments approved by the National Assembly and the state legislature. All right, that is talking about State Police Committee resume amid framework abuse concern. Then still looking at the front page where we have police probe killing of man accused of shooting brother in the dream. That is coming on the front page of the Guardian on page 9. Then on page 7, where we have sit-at-home workers, NAWOJ, fourth court in February salary. Then looking at the up page of the Guardian, where we also have reps, query courts, custom, CBM, NPA in pre-shipment non-remittant raw. Then on page 3, Middle East crisis forces major declaration spikes global LNG price. Middle East crisis forces major declaration spike global LNG prices. Then on page 30, still on the Guardian, where we have El Rufai keeps mute in custody. Protests political prosecution. All right, that is still coming in on the front page of the Guardian this morning. All right, then still looking at the front page, Electoral Act, INEC insists on compliance as opposition jitter over mandatory e-register. Coming on page 6. Then we also have on page 20, still on page 30, still on the Guardian, where we have court begins trial of Malami's son over terrorism financing on March 10. As talking about the Malami son court case that is already situated for March 10 of this month. According to the Guardian, the Federal Court of Nigeria fixed March 10 to begin the trial of former Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, and his son, Abdulaziz Malami, over alleged terrorism, financing, and illegal possession of firearms. All right, that is coming on the front page. Then on page 5, where we have Obasanjo was against personalized power, urges institutional stewardship. That is coming on the down page of the Guardian. Then still looking at the Guardian this morning, where we have U.S. Embassy cancel visa appointments over Abuja protest cars. U.S. Embassy cancel visas appointment over Abuja protest scars. Then a quick look at the page 9, where we have police probe killing of man accused of shooting brother in the dream. I think we read this story at the other paper just now. A quick look at what's happened. A 43-year-old man, Latif Suleiman, reportedly claims that his elder brother, Mustafa Amidu, which is 52 years old, had shot him while he was asleep in a dream. Believed the dream was real or on the sign of harm. He allegedly confronted his brother. He then picked up a heavy rock and struck his brother on the head while the victim was seated. The victim was rushed to the Iluwa General Hospital in Sapele, where the doctor confirmed he's dead. This is such a very wicked, and I don't know what is happening in this part of the country, that you have to dream and you believe that the dream you had is something that is enchanted into reality. I think we need to shift that off of our mentality, because if it is affecting this part of the world, how does it feel that you had a dream? People have dreams, both bad dreams and good dreams. You mustn't counter it on the emphasis of the person you dream about to be hurting you. This might just be a dream. Looking at the whole thing, African setting is somehow. All right, quick look at that story because it's such an interesting story to see what really happened, because the brother was sitting down while he used a heavy stool to strike him on his head. I mean, why police launched a probe on this aspect, looking at the police probe killing. It says police probe killing of man accused, looking at why the police probe it. I mean, a homicide occurred. I mean, the brother died after the attack. The suspect fled the scene initially, and prompting a police response. Then we also have authorities needs to determine the circumstances and motivate behind the killing, even though the suspect reportedly said the dream triggers his action. I mean, this is not what's supposed to be done. I mean, looking at this, it's not ideal, as in it's very, very sad to the ear. All right, a quick look at that story to see more on the reasons of why these things are happening. All right, on the Punch, on the front page, the next paper we have on the Punch, on the front page, state police, on the state front page of the Punch this morning, state police IG set up panel to propose framework. Then we also have on the front page, on page 14, I won't die anytime soon. Obasanjo declares at 89. Then on page 14, LG approved 1.2 trillion for Ibadan Elisha Road and others. Then on page 23, Tinubu hot cashless airport toll gate over gridlock cures. Tinubu hot cashless airport airport toll gates over gridlock cures. Then we also have on the down page of the Punch, Oyo 2027 jottles for Adelabu's ministerial seat heats up. Oyo 2027 jostle for Adelabu ministerial seat heat up. Then on page 4 and page 6, Lagos prosecute 4,000 residents for illegal waste dumping. Lagos prosecute 4,000 residents for illegal waste dumping. Then on page 22, on the down page of State the Punch, where we have alleged terrorism, AGF takes over Malami's son trial. All right, I think this is all we have for you today on the iDEA newspaper review. All right, before we go, a quick recap of most of the paper we brought across your way this morning. Looking at the front page of the blueprint we brought across your way, it says leadership tussle, uncertainty, allegation, threats to democracy. Leadership tussle, unnecessary litigation, threat to democracy. All right. Then looking at the next paper on the Tribune, where we brought across your way on the front page of the Tribune, IGP Disu gets set for state police. IGP Disu gets set for state police. Then looking at the next paper we brought across your way, which is the New Telegraph. Looking at New Telegraph, Middle East crisis, U.S. embassies councils visa appointment in Abuja. Middle East crisis, U.S. embassies councils visa appointment in Abuja. Then looking at the next paper we brought across your way this morning, which is talking about the Guardian. On the front page of the Guardian, we brought to you that the State Police Committee resume amid framework abuse concern. A State Police Committee resume amid framework abuse concern. Then the next paper, the Punch, we brought across your way. On the front page of the Punch this morning, IG set up panel propose framework. State Police, IG set up panels to propose framework. All right, these are more that we can bring across your way this morning on iDEA TV, on newspaper review segment. Give us a time and tune in tomorrow on the same time on iDEA TV for another package, on another segment of newspaper review. I am Gabriel Matthew Seriki. Thank you for your time.